What's up, guys? It's a little bit echoey in here, but hopefully the Wi-Fi is better here, so a little bit of a trade-off. But anyways, what's up? Hope you're all having a great week. Welcome back to another Evening with Eskel, number 81. Hopefully we won't have to have two parts of this one, but hope you're all having a great Sunday. Have any of you guys experienced just getting kind of like used to the job that you do, or like the day-to-day things that you do, that it starts becoming mundane and I guess boring? Yeah, I don't like using the word boring. It's kind of boring, but what do you guys do? What do you do to stay creative and keep it interesting and like add more variety to it all, I guess? That's my question. That's what I've been brainstorming about recently. But yeah. Hello in there. What's up, everybody? I don't know why. I feel like I try to like peek into you guys' lives by looking through the camera, but it's not going to work. Hello. We got lots of people commenting already. This is awesome. What's up, Irina, Kyle, Taylor, Val? How's it going? We got Caitlin and Emily, Mary, Denise, hello. Crystal and Irina. What's up, you guys? Try to move up in position or move to another job. There you go. Oh, thanks so much for the donation, Denise. Keep it up. Oh, yeah. Keep working hard, you guys. That's how you're going to get that promotion in the job, and hopefully it won't get boring, I guess, or just feel mundane. I was talking with Rachel today, and we actually had a really interesting discussion because I can't help but feel like the conversations are almost more interesting when you both have completely different perspectives on it. Oh no. It's already telling me YouTube is not receiving enough video. Shoot. Oh my goodness. My Wi-Fi is supposed to be good. Let's see here. Did you break the internet, Eskel? This keeps on happening. I'm just going to give it a minute and see if it'll be okay. I wonder if maybe I'm trying to stream it in too high. Like, oh, everyone's saying it's still working, so 15 minutes seems to be working for me. Okay, well, as long as it's working. Is it still connecting? Okay, sweet. At least it's still going. So anyways, I think a part of why the discussion with Rachel was so interesting is because we both started off the conversation with not quite opposite perspectives, but very different perspectives. And I was basically like, I don't think it matters what job you have. It's always going to get mundane after you do it enough, right, for long enough. And she was like, no, actually, I think there's certain jobs that will never get boring, like ever. And I was like, I kind of doubt that. So I want to get you guys' opinion. What do you guys think? Do you think there's a job out there you could find that'll never, ever get boring? Or do you think it's inevitable that jobs will get boring once you have it for a long enough time? That's basically my question. I'm curious what you guys think. Help me prove Rachel wrong. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just curious what you guys' thoughts are on that, because when I first thought about it, I was like, everything gets boring, no matter what. But then hearing Rachel's perspective, I was like, maybe there is a job, like the dream job, or like the one that suits you the most, or maybe just certain aspects of it really will keep you entertained no matter what. Taylor says, I never got bored working at Chuck E. Cheese. No way, really? You didn't get sick of all the screaming kids or just all the noise going around? Chuck E. Cheese was awesome as a kid, but now it just seems so chaotic and crazy. It's like, what did the comedian call it? The comedian was like, it's basically a casino for kids. Kids have to try and like scrummage up enough money to go and play the little games, and they find coins underneath the machine so they can keep playing and stuff. Oh man. Chuck E. Cheese's seem like they're going out of style too. I don't hear much about them anymore, but yeah, see, maybe there's certain jobs like that that really suit people and they'll never get bored. I don't know. Okay, let's see what people are saying. Crystal says, taking care of a special needs adults always kept me on my toes. Okay. So maybe it depends on the people you work with. Todd says, depends on what you do. If you like what you do, it won't get boring. Are you sure, though? Because I was even thinking about video games, right? Playing video games would be so fun. I do that with my spare free time, right? But if I had to do it from 9 to 5 every day, I'm sure I would get sick of playing video games, you know? It would get so boring. And just the fact that it changes from, oh, I want to play this video game with my free time to I have to play this video game to get a paycheck. Just that change, I think, would make it less fun as well, you know? And then having to keep on playing it over and over. Oh, what did Denise say? Denise says, my mom worked in public health for 50 years and never was sick of it because it was always evolving. So it definitely depends on the job. I imagine being a street sweeper would get boring. Okay. Yeah. So it's very clear there's a lot of boring jobs out there. But then, you think it just depends on you as a person? Maybe video games just wouldn't suit me, I guess. Playing video games for a career. But I even think of like being an astronaut. I wish so bad I could just ask someone that's an astronaut and be like, did your job get boring? Because there's so much hype to being an astronaut, you know? You got to go to space, you got to float around. To experience not having gravity seems like one of the coolest experiences ever, right? But does it get boring? That's your everyday, you know? Some of those, the astronauts go on this mission, and it's like for a whole year, 90 days or something like that, or longer. And I don't know. I kind of think it would get boring eventually. But maybe that's just me. Anyways, Mary says, I think it depends on the person too. Some people get bored more early than others. True. That's so true. Jobs can change over time too. Yeah, this is a point that Rachel brought up. I'm really glad you said that, Todd, because she was talking about how like there's got to be lots of jobs out there that are constantly like have so many new things that you do every time you go to work that it doesn't feel like you're doing the same thing over and over, you know? So as long as the job itself has enough variety, then maybe you'll never get bored. Possibly. Irina says, my current job isn't boring, but it's hard. I am responsible for helping people with disabilities get funding from the state since there are so many requirements for different disabilities. Okay. Huh. Yeah, that sounds like it would have a lot of variety to it for sure. What about a game testing job? Oh, see, that's a good point. Maybe if it's new games all the time, right? Enough variety to it. But then, like, I guess it depends if we're talking like virtual reality. Could I be like moving around and doing stuff? Because if I'm constantly at a desk, no matter how entertaining the game is, given enough time, I feel like it would get boring, or like you'd get sick of just always sitting there, or I don't know. But like maybe it's something like this, right? If I had a part-time job that was testing video games, really engaging, fun video games, and like every week it was a new video game constantly rotating, and that was part-time, and then my other job was like, I don't know, being a personal fitness trainer, and I was active and moving about. I think having the variety, having it, different enough experiences at each thing might make it a lot longer for it to ever get boring, but I still would debate if it would eventually get boring, If the mundaneness of jobs or even just life in general is inevitable, That's really my question. Is the goal in life to find something that you'll never get bored of, or is it just to prepare and expect and know what to do when you hit that wall or things feel and get mundane? Okay, let's see what Val was saying about it as well. I think both are true. The difference would be jobs that you're passionate about and that give you a true purpose in life. Okay, yeah. See, this was a big thing too that I was like, the whole reason why I even questioned this is because I was like, okay, I'm really passionate about creating videos, about editing, about doing stuff that I have a sense of completion. Every time I finish a live or finish a YouTube video, I feel satisfaction from it. But even those, when I do it enough or when I'm constantly busy or have so many other things I'm engaged in, then it does start to feel like a task, So it's I don't know. Passion is huge for just enjoying your job, but I just don't know if that's enough for it to never get boring or never feel like a job, I love the saying where it's if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life, which is awesome. But I think that has an expiration date to it, I don't think you can love something so much that you can do it for the rest of your life and never get kind of bored of it. I still think you could do it. I still think you could be creative enough and find ways to still, work at that job and say you worked there your whole life and still find ways to enjoy it. I do think you can do that, but I wonder if it's inevitable that it will get boring eventually, That's just my thought, which is okay. That's fine. You just got to, if that's the case, I think it's more important than instead of constantly searching for this dream job that you need it to make sure it's never going to be boring, you just need to know that once something gets boring, you need to find ways to spice it up, be creative, if that's the case. But I don't even know. You guys all have some great ideas, though. Let's see. Todd says, Rachel is also a civil engineer. It's kind of like playing video games versus designing video games. Okay, yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. Rachel really likes her job. She says she loves the excitement of always learning new things. And being a civil engineer, I feel like there's so much to it that you never fully feel okay, I've learned it all. I know everything now. So I think she really likes that. Would it be competitiveness, I guess? I don't know if competitive is the right word, but that constant seeking and learning and growing in it, which is cool. I think that's awesome. Game testing sounds like one that would be interesting because the technology changes so rapidly. Yeah, see, because now the video games are getting all virtual reality and the really advanced stuff. You can feel like you're in a whole new life. That's why I wonder if our world is going to get so advanced that we create virtual reality that's as good as reality. Because if that happens, I'll basically be convinced that the life we're living now is virtual reality, it seems like this could be a video game. We're just in the Matrix. That would be so crazy. Because then what happens when you go into a virtual reality, so go into, a new life within this Matrix that we're already in, and we go into another one. It's levels to it, like Inception, How crazy would that be? That'll just get weird. If it's a job that not everyone can have, it's less likely to get boring. Yeah, and that's why I thought of astronauts, because I was just reading the statistics. I don't remember the numbers, but it's just super duper hard to become an astronaut, first of all, to get into the space program, and then to actually be one of the trained and chosen astronauts to go on a mission into space. That's extremely hard to do. Denise has a question for you, Val. She says, Val, how can you be passionate about something like driving a street sweeper vehicle? That's a good question, but I wouldn't be too shocked if there's someone out there that's loves it, If there's someone that let's say maybe they're not super passionate about the machine street sweeper itself, but maybe they're like, they love the city that they work in, and they're like, it makes them feel so good to see the streets get clean and like feel like they're contributing to their city and their society, and they're a part of this big organization of the city, and they're a part of helping it and making the world a better place. I bet there's people that can find a joy in that and like that, but I still do wonder, even if they're so passionate and love that city and they get that job and it's awesome, eventually, no matter how much they love that city, eventually they'll be like, okay, I want to help the city in a different way, I think. But who knows? Okay. Also, this is kind of like what it led into after talking about this for quite a while. When you have the choice of the job that you're going to be in, I think it can dramatically change your perspective or your view on it. And it makes me think of the fact that when you're in the cult, I think being raised in a very controlled environment, there's this like sense of free agency and sense of choice that is very limited, I would say. And you don't really realize it inside of the group, because they're always like, you get to choose between this choice and that choice. They give you these limited choices so that you can still feel this sense of, at least I'm making a choice, And I think, some people can convince themselves and be like, this is my choice, this is what I want to do. I chose to be in this cult, because I had the choice to leave or to stay in it, and I chose to stay. And I think for a lot of people, it's not until you leave and realize that like your career, your life, like everything that you do has so many infinite choices, that once you see all those infinite choices and try out so many different options, that's when you see how limiting it was when you were in the controlled environment, right? But I can't help but feel like there must be a sense of fulfillment or I guess like satisfaction when you make the choice. Because I compare kind of like the cult environment to working in a factory, right? If you are someone that tried to get jobs all these other places and you didn't get accepted, and then your last resort was to work in this factory, that it's a factory, so it's boring stuff, just on a belt or whatever, then you're going to feel so much more limited, and it's going to be so much harder to enjoy working in a factory, or being in the cult. But if you are this person that's like so fascinated by the way all of the conveyor belts work, or like how a factory runs, and like you've always wanted to work at one, and you like that was your choice to apply to that, and you wanted to get that job, I feel like just the fact that you had the free agency to make the choice and choose where you wanted to work will make it more enjoyable and make it like more exciting, And so I feel like that's one big issue about being in a cult environment or a constrictive environment, because you don't get as much of that sense of free agency. Like, this was my choice. And some people, I feel like they do convince themselves that they get a choice and they made that decision. But a lot of the times it just feels like it's so limited, If you don't know how limited your choices are, it might not affect you as much. But I, for one, I like, my personal belief for sure is that when you make the conscious decision to go after something and do something, that alone will be motivational. That alone will help you to find more happiness and joy in whatever it is that you're doing, And so that's why a lot of my conversations are about free agency, about not letting the government control too much stuff, because I just like making the choice, I love being able to feel like I'm in control of my own destiny. I'm the author of my life, so I'm going to write it out how I find it exciting and want it to be, But what are you guys' thoughts on that? That is hard to deal with, Emily says. No, we've been talking about a lot of stuff today, for sure. I love talking with my sisters, though. Like, Rachel and I were talking for hours, and because I feel like we have, basically the same background and upbringing, that like a lot of the things we think about are so similar. So we just get so hyped up when we talk about deep, meaningful stuff. Denise says, okay, valid. There is probably a few autistic people out there would love that job the way you just described it. Okay, yeah. Caitlin says, I worked in the laundry room at the hotel. Love the smell of clean laundry. Okay, see, yeah. If there's certain little things that you can just, I don't know, that you personally resonate with or like really enjoy. And a lot of it probably has to do with your childhood, you know? If you as a kid was like, I don't know, felt a sense of like joy and happiness when you like made your bed with your family or something, or like did something that was really joyful as a kid, then maybe doing that same thing when you're older will give you this sense of like happiness or a good feeling, you know? Val says, Caitlin, I love the smell of Downy. What was your favorite laundry smell? I make my own laundry soap. You make your own soap, Val? That's cool. Todd says, I also want to put out there that for some, it's not about passion. It's about making money so you can take care of kids. Yeah, there you go. But then that's why I'm like, I feel like it's so important to make sure your job doesn't consume your life, you know? Because a lot of the times people have a job, not because they're like super in love with that job, right? But because they really love what they're able to do with, you know, the money that they get from that job. You know, they're able to fund their dreams and their passions with what they make. So the jobs are so much more than just having to find a job that you fall in love with, right? My husband does tech support for point of sales in restaurants to pay the mortgage, not because he loves it. Exactly. See? And I bet he loves having a house to live in, though, right? So that makes it very worth it. Ooh, is Amanda here? What's up, Amanda? How's it going? When are you going to go live today? Hey, guys. How was your birthday, Amanda? I'm excited to hear all about it. Caitlin says, I love the smell of Gain. I just used Tide. I should probably use a. Clearly, Eskel missed your live too. Live. Which one? Last week's live? I thought I got it. Oh, she already went live this week? Is that what you're talking about? I guess I did miss it if you already went live today. Oops. Okay, I got a funny question for you guys. Have you guys ever accidentally walked into the wrong bathroom? I've had this happen a couple times in my life, and it's like, I wonder what it's like from a woman's perspective, because a lot of the times I go into a bathroom and like, you know, I have a little panic attack, like being like, oh, did I walk into the wrong bathroom? But I feel like it's easier for guys because as long as I see urinals in it, then I'm like, okay, I don't have to worry about it. But when I'm in a bathroom that doesn't have those, I'm always like, I hope I went into the right one, you know? But I don't think girls don't really have a way to know for sure if it's their bathroom, you know? So I was just like, I wonder if, I mean, I'm sure other people have to make that mistake, right? I'm not the only one walking into the wrong bathrooms by accident, right? I hope not. But anyways, that was just a random experience I thought of this week. Yes, on the bathroom thing, right? It happens, okay? Don't make fun of me. Denise says, me too, Mary. Making soap. Val, you got to do a video on making laundry soap. That'd be cool. I want to make a body scrub. Like, I've used some really nice body scrubs that like exfoliate really well, and I want to make my own because they can be expensive. Todd says, did you forget what gender you were? Maybe that's what it was, huh? In that split second, I just thought I was the other gender, I guess. Sometimes I feel like, I don't know if I want to get into all this, but I'm like, if I get caught, do I just have to pretend I identify as the other gender or something? I don't know. I just don't want to get in trouble. That's all, okay? It happens to the best of us. Thanks, Denise. I hope it's, I want to believe it's not just me. Okay, Crystal's got one for us. One time, I had to take my nieces in the men's room since ladies' room was being cleaned. They were really little at the time. I had fun explaining what the urinals was to them. Oh, that's funny. As long as it's not on purpose. True thing. Yeah, life is weird, you guys. I feel like there's just so many things that you just learn along the way, and you just gotta make the most of it. But that's why I wonder, like, I just love the idea of thinking the life that we're living is like a virtual reality, right? It's like a Matrix thing. Because then that's something we know how to compare it to. You know, like if I put on my virtual reality and I play some life simulation video game, right? Then I know I'm going to finish the video game and then take it off and then go back to whatever, right? At least that's something I can compare it to so that you can relate to like what happens after you die or like, why did you come here? But even if that was true, let's just theoretically pretend that is true and that's the reality. My big question would be, are we just playing a video game for entertainment, or is it more like when you go to school and you're getting a PhD for something, you know? Do we need to pass some test here so that we can take it to the next place and, you know, we have a grade on it and we take it somewhere to get, I don't know, into a job or into our next, you know, level? Or are we just bored in the next life and we found this really amazing, realistic video game, and so we're just here to enjoy it and get a great experience out of it? Or are we looking for some sort of PhD while we're here? Is it going to be compounded into our knowledge and into all this stuff that we need in our next life, basically? That's my question. But that aside, either way, like how cool is it going to be if that was real and in the next life, you get all your memories from all the previous lives and you get to come back and like, you know, experience being a lawyer one time and being this career? Because like there's so many times where I'm like, I want to experience being all the careers, you know. I want to do so many things, but life is so short. You can't be a lawyer, a doctor, and an astronaut, and all these other things, right? I think there is one person. I saw a post about some guy that literally was a doctor, a lawyer, and an astronaut. But I'm sure that consumed all of his time. Like, he couldn't also be a street sweeper at the same time, I'm pretty sure. Maybe he could have squeezed one more in there. But, you know, there's so many careers out there. There's like, you almost need multiple lifetimes to enjoy all of them, you know, to experience every single one of those. So I think that would be really cool. That would be a lot of fun. And it would be the coolest too, you know, the moment you take it off and then all of this life's memories, you know, if you live to be 80, 90 years old, 90 years of life experiences, of sweeping those streets, you know, I don't know, being an astronaut, doing whatever you're doing, and then combining that knowledge and information with all your previous lives, all these different things that you went through, all this crazy stuff, and you're just like, whoa, that's what it's like. You know, that's what that career path is gonna make you think of, or like so many, you know, you'll see so many different perspectives. These are the types of things that I lay awake at night thinking about, you guys. How cool would that be? Anyways. Flinker Mary says, I was 3 years old when I went to the men's restroom. I can't read. Oh, man. Well, when you're 3, I feel like that's way less embarrassing. Maybe at the time you're still embarrassed. But when you're, you know, when you're 20 and you still do it, that's a little more embarrassing. Mary says, not accidentally, but I was really, really tempted to use the men's room a couple of weeks ago when the ladies' room was occupied for a really long time. You know, I've seen that happen. There was a time where it was just like this really busy area in the city. And I walked inside of this little, like, it was like a coffee shop, but, you know, it was attached to other stores and stuff. And so the bathroom lines were really long, but the men's line was going way faster, right? And so I saw women jump lines and come into the men's bathroom line. And I was just like, okay, if they want to do that, I wasn't going to be the one to be like, hey, get out of here, you know? Like, I just let it happen, I guess. But I don't know. But then again, they still would have to wait for the stall ones, though. I think the reason why the men's bathroom line goes so much faster is because of the urinals. But, yeah, I don't know. Val says, he sounds like a narcissist. Who does? Who are you guys talking about? Todd says, I've seen women use the men's room at clubs when the women's was full or broken. Yeah, see? I'd hate to wait in line as well. So, I guess whatever's easiest. Caitlin says, I mean, if you have to go, you gotta go. Yep, good point. The Dr. Astronaut guy. Yeah, he's a real dude. Look him up. Like, it's impressive. He gets, like, I think the first thing he gets was his law degree. And he passes the bar, so he's an official lawyer, right? Then he gets his PhD and goes to medical school. And then the final last thing was he went through the space program and got accepted into NASA. So he technically became all three. And he was surprisingly young, you know? I mean, I think he was like 40 once he completed all of it. But yeah, he like became a lawyer by the age of like 27 or something. And then finished med school at like 30 something. And then, yeah. So he was surprisingly young and he got started really young. So it was impressive. But see, even that, just the three, which I think those would be, not the three hardest, because, you know, there's like Olympians or sports that are crazy hard too. But like, I'm sure those three, just to be able to get through all those three, would pretty much take a lifetime, right? So it's impressive. And yeah, it's rare. Like, that's very impressive they were able to do that. Somebody's making some noise over there. Okay, Emily says, you could do something similar to challenge accepted. Wait, what? It's where the videos here experiencing different carriers. I'm not sure where they're going with that. But anyways, Todd says, does the kingdom of God have urinals in the men's room? I hope in the next life we don't need to go to the bathroom. Why would I want to have to pee all the time, you know? Like, if we have perfected bodies, or like, you know, if we're just spirit angels or something, I hope we don't have to deal with that. But then again, I still would want to be able to eat food, right? But maybe I only like eating food because of, you know, my body craves the endorphins. So if my body could just give me those endorphins all the time without having to eat food, then maybe I wouldn't care. And then I can just skip the bathroom lines altogether. Who needs them, right? But that's a good question. In my heaven, there wouldn't be bathrooms for sure. But, I mean, you wouldn't need to go to the bathroom. Oh, that's interesting to think about. Denise says, damn impressive. But I still want to eat, see? Yeah, we're all having that same thought. Food is just so good, you know? But hopefully there's this thing like, here's how I would picture it, right? Let's say I'm God for a second. In the next life, you still want to feel like you're eating food. So I'd want there to be like a virtual pill maybe you can eat, or a virtual injection maybe, I don't know, some type of thing where you can take it and like you get the sensation of eating pizza, or like the sensation of eating this really good food, but it's just like a pill, or it's just something, you know, that evaporates maybe or something. So you still get that sensation, you still get those endorphins, you still feel good, but it's not going to ever make you fat, or it's not going to ever, you know, it'll never do anything negative to you, I guess. Yeah, Todd, so the lower degrees of heaven can clean them. Oh, Val, you're so funny. The way they can work their way back up to the highest. Oh my goodness, you guys. Val having to clean urinals doesn't sound like heaven to me. Yeah. True. And besides, everything's just going to be made of gold. So you won't be able to tell if you miss anyways. I'm just kidding. Oh, that's gross. No, there's not going to be urine in heaven, you guys. Not on my watch. Oh, I know. I know outer darkness sounds like heaven to me. I'm with Val, Denise says. Oh, you guys are funny. You know, I do wonder, because think about it, if it's all like the mind is a powerful thing, right? And like your reality, even this earth life, is dramatically different from person to person because of our mind, right? If you truly believe the world is from a certain perspective or a certain type of way, then even though you can't change reality, like, maybe the streets will still be dirty or something, but if you constantly focus on you live in a clean city, or like your perspective of things is a certain type of way, it's going to change and alter your own reality, right? So why then, when it's like 1,000 times amplified in the next life, when you're just like this spirit being or whatever, why can't the heaven that you're in be like 100% customized to you and what would be heaven to you, right? To me, that just would make so much more sense. The only reason why this would get complicated, and I still kind of have a little bit of a solution for this, but it would get complicated when it comes to people, It doesn't matter if like you would want, the streets to be gold or silver or blue or whatever you want, right? Because like then from your perspective, heaven will just be whatever color you think is the coolest, right? But to someone else, it can be their color through their eyes, So heaven can be altering and different for each person because we all have, personal preferences and things that we like, right? The only time it'll get kind of complicated is if, your heaven is going to have, your sibling or your best friend. But what if your best friend's heaven doesn't have you in it or something, Something doesn't correlate 100%. But then my thought is, and this gets a little bit weird because then you have to, play the whole game of what your relationships are with people. But then I'm like, why couldn't there be a version of your best friend in your heaven and then a version of you in your friend's heaven, right? I guess then it wouldn't necessarily be you. That is where it would get complicated. So maybe with people, they do have to correlate how you're going to be in whatever heaven is the best correlated with all the people you're going to be with. But at least for the physical features and aspects, I don't see why they couldn't just make it customizable for every person, If to you, heaven is all blue or all crystals or all certain ways, then it should be able to be that way, right? And just from someone else's lens, heaven will look different to them because that's their heaven, right? So it seems like it would make a lot of sense that it's very customizable to each person, the way they view it and all the physical things, but just the people themselves is where it would get complicated. But that's a cool to think about, though. Oh, I know. What do you mean, Solent Green? This is why you liked the LDS planet thing. LDS planet thing? What's that? Where you get to create your own world? Is that what you're talking about? I do like the idea of the LDS belief that you progress. You never stop progressing, so eventually you would progress into a god, right? Because that's eventually where you would get if you never stopped progressing. But the weird thing is, the reason why that has a moral complex as well, or a dilemma, is because that would mean that God, our God, is continually progressing too. So we would never really become our God, right? We would always have a God, but we would, I guess, become a God over something else that we supposedly create or something like that. And to me, that seems cool, but it doesn't full circle make sense, though, because then it's like your God is always progressing, and then you would always be progressing. So it would feel a little bit of a sense of kind of like restarting your life over and over again, which that would be cool too, because then you could come back and be a lawyer, come back, be a street sweeper, come back and be, experience all the different careers and all the different things you want. But it'll always be a little bit of that simulation of, there's an all-powerful being that's more advanced than you always and forever, because he's always infinitely progressing, just like you, theoretically. But let's see. Susan says, hi, haven't been on in a while because it's summer and been busy doing outdoorsy stuff. Yeah, the weather's been so good, you guys. I love it. Hi, Val. Happy Labor Day, y'all. Oh, yeah, it's a holiday weekend, you guys. I watched your cooking video, Val. Yeah, Val's cooking videos are really fun. Val says, oh God, I hope it was good. Yeah, they're great, Val. You got to make more of them. Even Susan agrees. She says, yeah, it was great. Are you going live, Val? Val, do you do lives now? That would be fun. I will tell you this, Val. Lives, they're a little more nerve-wracking, but they're so much more chill. I like lives because you don't have to stress as much about them. I like your videos, Val. Thought drunk cooking you is definitely less nervous. There you go. What? I don't picture Val as a very nervous person. Maybe in some of his videos he might come across that way. But yeah, watching him and Amanda get super drunk and cook and eat food was really funny. Val says, thank you for checking it out. I really just love this community and can't wait to bring more. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, you guys are the best. This is always super fun. I have a lot of fun every time I go live with you guys, so that's awesome. Happy birthday, Flinker Mary. Ooh, her birthday's tomorrow. That's cool. Have a fun celebration with your day off for the holiday. That's cool. You should watch his last 2 lives. I think he was scared of us. Scared? Oh, my first time going live, I was so nervous, man. Lives are nerve-wracking because at least when you're creating a video, you can delete a scene, recreate it, retry. But when you're live, it's like you're going to screw up. And you just got to embrace it, man. There's nothing you can do about it. So you just got to deal with it. Okay, so he's got 2 lives, though. I'll have to go check him out. That sounds fun. Yeah, let me know when you go live so I can participate in the chat. That's the most fun. It's like there's this sensation that comes when you're in a YouTube video live and you like say something in the chat and they actually read it and like you're a part of the discussion. I think it's so fun. I love that. Sweet. Okay, I can't wait. Happy birthday. Awesome. Okay, I think I am pretty much out of time. So, but this was fun. Thanks for listening to my ramblings, you guys. I'll try to not walk into the wrong bathrooms anymore. Just kidding. But anyways. Flinker Mary says thank you guys. Sweet. Bye everyone. Yeah, I hope you all have a great week. Thanks for coming to this live. And thanks to everyone who commented. I really appreciate you guys being a part of the discussion. These are always super fun. But sweet, I gotta take off. But I hope you all have a great week and I hope to see you guys in the